Okay, Holly, you have 2 minutes. Irish Wish, go.
Lindsay Lohan is an aspiring author who has become by accident an editor and finds herself editing a book for an Irish author. It turns out, though, in reality, she's probably really written the book rather than him having written the book. She has managed to fall in love with him for reasons. But then he doesn't tell her that he's in love with her. He suddenly meets her best friend and falls in love with her. And then they're off to Ireland for his wedding because he is, I say, Irish and lives in a his family live in a very, very fancy house. And this is all lovely, except not so lovely for her because she's very sad. Her mother is played by Jane Seymour. I don't really know what the point of Jane Seymour is in it, but there you go. She's present and apparently is quite present.
Paycheck.
Lindsay Lohan gets on the plane, arrives in Ireland in a really weird airport that nobody has ever heard of, and her luggage is not there. Drama. Tries to wait around to try to find her luggage. They can't find her luggage, but she ends up getting a bus for reasons. And on the bus, meet attractive photographer who she disagrees with because he doesn't like the book, because he doesn't like the author, because he thinks the author's not very good, which would appear probably to be a fair call. They part ways on the bus, and she lands in this wonderful fancy home of Irish author who's Paul something probably, and it's all
Paul
very
Kennedy.
fancy. Paul Kennedy, thank you. See, name irrelevant. And the next day, off they go for a sort of trip somewhere, and everyone goes off on boats, and she decides to go and sit somewhere, and Lo shows up looking quite sort of, quaint and in a, scarf over her hair, shows up St. Bridget, and the governor's managed to wish she was marrying Paul Kennedy, and then suddenly she is marrying Paul Kennedy. And oh, the excitement, the drama. Clearly, she doesn't realise what's going on. She's very taken aback. Oh my God, what's going naked in my bathroom? And then she realises they're getting married, and isn't it all something? And then the photographer has suddenly become their wedding photographer because St. Bridget makes the thing he was meant to be photographing, which was the sheep shearing competition, be cancelled. And suddenly he's their wedding photographer, except they go off and they end up stranded somewhere, and there's Irish dancing, and she can't dance, but now she can do Irish dancing, and she discovers she likes Guinness, which she's then drinking at the pre-wedding party whilst everyone else is drinking champagne, and that made no sense, but there you go. And then she realizes that she doesn't in fact wish to be marrying Paul Kennedy, and her friend is clearly absolutely in love with him and they're a much better fit. She wishes to undo wish, and then she lovely photographer again, and they are clearly madly in love with each other, and it's all wonderful. And it's a completely pointless film, and and the acting is bad, and the script is bad, but the colours are beautiful. It's very
Green.
pretty. It's very green. Green. Some of the honestly, even having been to Ireland, I'm not sure it's the actual real green. Some of it's definitely foolish looking, but it's very pretty. Lots of lovely greenness. But the Guinness suddenly starts to. The Guinness is basically a character in its own right by the end of the film. I cared more about the Guinness than I did about the people. I was.
Oh.
Paul Kennedy is clearly a very bad author, and I feel very sorry for the woman who does end up marrying him, even though it turns out they both like cycling, which is nice. And Lindsay Lohan is very bad at that.
Cycling, which is nice.
So Lindsay Lohan clearly
Nice.
good author. Lohan actually wrote Kennedy's books for him. Paul Kennedy, bit of a con artist. You figure out by the end, and you go, the end. But it's slightly better than Monsternado.
Okay.
A little bit. Not
On
massively,
scale of
only because
just above Monsternado
well,
is
the
quite good.
production value,
Sharknado.
the production values of this better than Monsternado, and the acting is slightly better, and the script is subtly more coherent. The story, yeah, only slightly. I mean, if they'd thrown in the odd megalodon and some pterodactyls, I think it would have actually lifted the story.
Can't be.
Yeah,
I mean,
the story
you know, on the
being
fun of
heightened by a
pterodactyl
pterodactyl.
showing up in a film, I can't see a bad thing. And yeah, that's what's Irish Wish is missing out on pterodactyls.
Well, essentially, if you go online, it has become like it's pretty
Harry
much.
Maguire trope, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. To be honest with you, if you go online, it's become like a game to see who can kick this film the hardest. It's like to see okay, because yeah, it is just. Even, I think I read somebody like that who actually read about this and said it's like I'm not Irish, but I think this one might be racist against Irish people.
Wow.
It's like I feel it's like I'm not Irish. I've never been there. I feel offended on the part of the Irish.
The Irish
watching this
have every
film.
right to be offended. It does not do the Irish any favours at all, unless you care about the scenery, in which case, even then, because of the weird sort of super injection of some of the shades of green, it doesn't do them favours there either.
I don't actually think it was filmed in Ireland.
I think that's quite plausible.
But okay.
It,
But
it
anyway,
had, it had a certain feel of the original Mary Poppins in the shades of some of the green.
Oh, okay.
I mean, at least nobody said Begorra Begorra.
Mhm.
does anybody say top of the
Leprechaun.
morning? Top of the morning.
It is not a good film, but it is better than Monsternado. But as we have established, Monsternado is one of the worst films ever made.
And
So
this is Holly saying this, who loves everybody who tries to make a film so much. And
exactly, you know, I've always got kind things to say about everything if I try really hard, and I'm afraid all I can say in favour of Irish Wish is there's a lot of green and some of the flowers look pretty,
And it did end.
and it
And
did
it
end.
ended.
eventually.
The fact that I didn't have to watch any more was a joy, and I did
I,
this.
I think I'll tell you
no
what,
one
right?
else had to.
I'll tell you
Despite
what.
my
We'll,
love.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Holly. I think we might just tweet out a screen grab of what you were sending to us as you were watching Irish Wish. We might just put a screen grab. Say this is Holly's hell. But all right,
Why are you
all right.
doing this to me? Why did I agree to this? This is how much I love you all.